William stood frozen in his doorway, coffee mug suspended halfway to his lips. The ceramic fell from his hand, shattering across the hardwood floor as he stared at the figure materializing in his living room. She was exactly as he remembered, 7 feet of crystalline elegance, her form shifting between solid and translucent like living glass. Daisy, the alien queen of the Valtorian Empire, stood in his modest apartment as if she belonged there. Her luminescent eyes fixed on him with an intensity that made his heart race. "I missed you so much, human," Daisy said, her voice reverberating through the air like wind chimes in a storm. "Let's go back." William's mind reeled. It had been 3 years since the diplomatic mission. 3 years since he'd been selected as Earth's ambassador to the Valtorian homeworld. 3 years since he'd spent 6 months in the Crystalline Palace, learning their ways, teaching them his, and somehow impossibly befriending their queen. "Daisy," he managed, his voice hoarse. "You can't just teleport into my apartment." "I am the Queen of Valtoria," she replied, tilting her head in that peculiar way that had once charmed him. "I can manifest wherever I choose within 3 star systems." She moved closer, and William noticed the subtle differences. Her crystalline form seemed dimmer somehow, less vibrant than before. The light that usually danced within her structure flickered weakly. "What's wrong?" William asked, his diplomatic training kicking in despite his shock. Daisy's form shimmered, and for a moment, he thought he saw something like vulnerability cross her alien features. "The council grows restless. They question my leadership. They say I am too soft, too influenced by human ideals of compassion and negotiation." William set his jaw. During his time on Valtoria, he'd seen the brutal efficiency of their empire, a civilization built on conquest and assimilation. Daisy had been different, though. She'd listened when he spoke of Earth's history, of humanity's long climb from barbarism to the stars, of the value of life and choice. "You changed their minds once," William said. The treaty holds by a thread," Daisy interrupted. "They want to resume expansion. They see weakness in mercy." Her crystalline hands clenched. "But I remember what you taught me, William. I remember your words about strength through cooperation, about the power of willing allies versus conquered subjects." She stepped closer, and William could see his reflection fractured in her faceted surface. "I need you to come back. Not as an ambassador this time, but as my advisor. My voice of humanity." William laughed bitterly. "I'm just one man, Daisy. What difference could I possibly make?" "You made me question everything I knew," she said softly. "In 6 months, you changed the perspective of a being who had lived for 3 centuries. If one human could do that to me, imagine what you could do with others on my council. They'll never accept me. They will have no choice." Daisy's form solidified, taking on an edge of determination. "I am invoking the ancient right of Kavesh, the queen's right, to choose a consort from any species, any world." William's eyes widened. "Consort? Daisy? That's not... I'm not..." "It is ceremonial," she explained quickly, though something in her luminescence suggested otherwise. "It grants you legal standing in the Empire. Diplomatic immunity, a voice in the council chambers." She paused. "And it means I would not have to face them alone." William walked to his window, looking out at the city lights. Earth. His home. His species had only just achieved interstellar travel. They were only beginning to understand their place in the cosmic community. Could he really leave again? "Tell me why," he said, not turning around. Behind him, Daisy's form dimmed further. "Because in 300 years of existence, across 1,000 worlds and countless beings, you were the first who ever told me no. The first who challenged my assumptions not with weapons or threats, but with stories and questions. The first who made me want to be better than what I was." She moved beside him, her crystalline hand almost touching the glass. "The Valtorian Empire spans 87 systems. We have brought order to chaos, stability to anarchy. But we have never brought hope. We have never inspired loyalty, only obedience. She turned to him. You showed me the difference. You showed me what humanity offers that we never could, the stubborn, irrational belief that things can change, that mercy is strength, that one voice can matter. William felt the weight of her words. This was bigger than him, bigger than Daisy. This was about the direction an empire would take, about whether dozens of worlds would face subjugation or cooperation. If I say yes, William said slowly, I'm not just representing Earth. I'm representing every human who ever stood up for what they believed in. Every person who chose the harder right over the easier wrong. Yes, Daisy confirmed. That is exactly what I need. William thought of his apartment, his routine, his comfortable life. Then he thought of the young civilizations out there, the species that would soon encounter the Valtorian Empire. He thought of what humanity had always done when faced with impossible odds. They tried anyway. I'll need to pack, William said finally, and send a message to Earth's Colonial Council. Daisy's form brightened instantly, light cascading through her crystalline structure like sunrise through a prism. Then you will come? William smiled despite himself. Humanity has never backed down from a challenge. Besides, he added, someone needs to make sure you don't conquer any planets while I'm gone. I make no promises, Daisy said, but there was something like humor in her resonant voice. As William gathered his belongings, he realized something profound. Humanity's greatest weapon wasn't their technology or their numbers, it was their unshakable belief that they could make a difference, even against impossible odds. One human had changed an alien queen's mind. Perhaps that same human could help change an empire. Ready? Daisy asked as reality began to shimmer around them. William took one last look at Earth through his window, then squared his shoulders. Let's go change the universe. As they vanished in a cascade of light, William's coffee mug lay forgotten on the floor. A small reminder that sometimes the most extraordinary journeys begin with the most ordinary moments, and that humanity's true strength lay not in their ability to fight, but in their stubborn refusal to stop caring. The Valtorian Empire would learn what one determined human could do, and the galaxy would never be quite the same.